Hey guys, in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to do some simple head gaze interaction in Unreal Engine 4. So here's a simple interaction that we're going to be doing. So basically, I've got this sphere thing in front of the camera here, and when I'm looking at it you see that white dot sort of my gaze. When we
This is
click,
some
some
information about a
information pops up.
catapult.
Mine plays some sound, we can show you how to do that, possibly. And then you click again, it goes away. You keep clicking and it just keeps going back. I've also got it working on this catapult here, so we move over again, the catapult fires. Can't really look around too much because I'm just in this simple virtual reality setup at the moment. But I'll create a new project and show you where to go from here. Alrighty, so I've just started up a new virtual reality template project. So what we're going to do to begin with is we're going to go File, just make a new level from the default. And then we're going to go into the content, right click down here in the content browser, blueprint class, and we're going to have to make a new game mode. So game mode base, we'll just call this my game mode. Open this up, bring it up here, makes it a bit cleaner. And in the default pawn class, set this to the motion controller pawn here. You'll have that if you started from the virtual reality template. So compile and save this, come back to the scene, and if we hit play, now we have to come into the settings and the world settings, and down where it says game mode, we want to select out the game mode that we just made. So that'll be using that game mode. So if we file, save this project, I press save current, we'll just call this test level. Just put it in the main folder there. And then we hit play, we will be spawned as the motion controller via eject. You can see the Vive hands there. So now it's all set up in there. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to get some interaction happening with the sphere. So what we're going to have to do is right click down here and we're going to go blueprints, then we're going to create an interface. You don't really need to know what an interface does, but basically what it's going to do is we're going to, every actor that we allow to use this interface is going to have an implementation of a function that I've called onSelect. So when we press it, it's going to do something. So we're going to make that, and we'll just call this I_interactable. So if we open this, and it'll have a function already set up in here. We'll just change the name to onSelect, and we'll compile and save that, and that's basically all we need to do with that. So we come back to the scene, we can close both of these. Come back to the scene, and we'll create a new blueprint class of actor. So basically an actor is like a game object in Unity. So it's anything that can be placed in the world, and it tells you that right there. So actor, and we'll just call this interactable object. Alright, so we'll bring this up to the top here, and then we go to class settings to begin with, and over here where it says interfaces, we'll just select which interface we want it to use. So we want it to be using the iInteractable interface. So we do that and we'll compile save that, and then when we come into the event graph here, we'll be able to get to right click and we can type in event onSelect. So anything that we pull out of here will happen when we're looking at it and we pull the trigger or we press the mouse button. Alrighty, so we compile and save that. So like mine, we're going to have some sort of UI element that pops up when we look at it. So we'll create that first. So right click down again and we'll go use interface and blueprint widget. So blueprint widget is just, it's a template for what your UI is going to be. So we'll call this test UI. Open this up, and then over here where it says fill screen, we'll change that to custom and make both of these 500 by 500. Just makes it a bit easier for us to deal with. And then in there we'll just create a text to begin with, and we'll just drag that in there. And we'll just type, this is some test text. Drag this and set it to auto wrapping here. Compile and save that. And now we'll go back to our interactable object, and we'll go add component up the top here, and we'll type in widget, and we'll add a widget component to this object. So a widget component will put that UI element onto this actor that we've got. So over on the right hand side, when you've selected the widget, you can come into the widget class that we want it to use, and we'll select test UI, and you'll see that text appear that we've got there. So we can bring that up, and we'll also want to create that sphere that I had in mind. So we just go sphere here, and it'll basically create it. We'll make it a bit smaller, half it maybe. So there's that. This other sphere that was there was just sort of a template, so you know where center is. Alright, so now that's all done, we'll come into the event graph and we'll set up the function of what we want onSelect to do. So we'll create a new bool, so like on visible, or visible. Alright, so we'll drag off of this and we'll do a branch. So this is like an if statement in Unity, so we'll drag this into the condition, so if visible is true, then what we want to be doing is we want to then set the visibility of this widget to false. So we want to go set visibility of the widget, and we want to set that to false, so that's automatically done there. And then also after that we want to set this function, so you can just drag that out of here from the components variables side, and we go set, and we'll set that to false as well. So then we can basically just copy and paste this, Control C, Control V, and pop it into the false, and just swap these values. So when is visible is false, we want to make visibility of that widget to be true, and then we make the visibility variable true as well. So that's basically going to set that visibility to true, and we'll, in the begin play, we'll just make sure that everything's false. So we can just grab this, Control Z again, Control V, and just pump it into there. So that'll make it false when we start. So we can drag this interactable object in now. And that's it there. We'll let the text the wrong way, we'll drag it around. So you can see it there. And when we hit play, you'll see the text isn't there anymore. So now we'll get the basic interactions done. Alright, so what you want to navigate to now is the virtual reality blueprints folder, so this one here, and blueprints, and then we'll be using the motion controller pawn. So this, whatever you set up as your default pawn class will be what you're using for this. So we'll be using this motion controller pawn that works with the Vive. So you want to come in here and find the tick function, and then you want to create a new pin of this sequence. So this is all what they've set up in the template. So we'll drag off this pin, and we'll come down here, and we'll just call, what we want to do is we want to do a line trace, which is basically like a raycast in Unity. So you can, it's an invisible line that just travels down a set path and it checks for collisions on that path. So we'll do a line trace by channel, so that one there. We'll press enter. So now we want a start position and an end position. So the start position is really easy. We want to get the camera from up in the top right, top left corner of the components. We'll get it, and then we'll just get this get world position location from that, and we'll pump that into the start. So the end position is a bit more complicated. So what we want to do is we want to get the camera again, so you can pull off this again here, and then we want to get the world rotation, and then we want to get the x vector of that rotation, so the forward vector. So we want to get rotation x vector, so it came up already, so we want that, and then we want to times that by a set amount so that it goes further beyond forward of us. So we'll times this by an int, so vector times int, and we can times it by something crazy for now. So Unreal uses centimeters by default, so if you just type 100, it's only going to go a meter in front of you. So if you type 1,000, that's 10 meters and so on. So we'll use 1,000 for now. We'll tidy this up, and then you want to add two vectors together. So you want to plus, drag off that and go plus vector. We'll clean this up a bit so that one can go down to the bottom, and then we'll add the world location. And then we'll pump that into the end. So the rest of this you don't really need to worry too much about. We can put on the debug mode for now, I guess, just for display purposes. Okay, so now we want to check what we're actually hitting with this line trace. So we're going to go to the out hit property and we're going to right click and we're going to go, drag out and then hit break hit result. So that's going to bring up all these properties. The main property that we're going to be focusing on is this hit actor. So what we're going to make down in the variables here, we're going to press this plus and we're going to create a new variable called focused actor. And then up here, mine's already set, but we're going to change this to actor. And under the object types, we want to make it an actor reference. So we'll set that up and we'll compile, save that. And then what we want to do is, out of this line traced by channel property, we want to drag out and we want to do a branch. And then out of the hit actor section, we want to go does not. So exclamation mark equals is not equal. So if hit actor is not the same as the actor that we are focused on, then we want to drag this out up here. So if the focused actor is not the same actor as we're hitting, if this is true, then what we want to do is we want to set the focus actor. So set focused actor, and we want to set that to the hit actor. So that's pretty simple there. So we can select all this and press C to put a comment around it, and we can just say set focused. We'll scroll in. Set focused actor. Alright, so now what we want to do is we want to call this function, the function that we set up, the onSelect function, on this focus actor. So we'll drag down here and we'll go motion trigger. So this here, the left and right trigger is the left and right triggers on the HTC Vive controllers. So we want to get both of those. So we want to get the left trigger, then we want to go again and we want to go motion trigger, and we want to get the right trigger. And for test purposes, as I don't have the Vive set up at the moment, we also want to get the left mouse button, so that I can test things out. So out of all of these, we want to drag out and we want to we're going to get the focused actor, we'll get it, and then we want to call that function. So we go onSelect, and then we'll just pump the pressed into all of these. So whenever one of these buttons is pressed, it's going to try and call this function on that actor. It doesn't matter if that actor doesn't have any implementation of that function, because it's an interface, it's not going to throw an error. So that's the benefits of using an interface there. So this should be basically working. So if we come in, we'll just save everything, save all, press play, and when we move that sphere so we're looking at it a bit better, as we don't have any controls set up, when we click, that text comes up, and we click again, it'll go away. So that's how easy it is. It's simple. So we'll escape from play mode. So now you can play around with whatever you want to put into this onSelect. So basically, when the text appeared on mine, I play some sound. So you can put in here, you want to play sound, place sound at location, and then you could give it the actor's location. So get actor location, and you can put that in the location, and then we'll just use like the explosion sound for now. Compile and save that. So now when you play and you click, it'll play a big explosion sound. Again, every time you play. So yeah, as you just play around with whatever you put into this function now. So you can also come into these, and all you need to do now is duplicate this interactable object. So if we control W that, let's call this, well, we're modeling Fort Linton, so we'll just call this Canon, or Canon Info Actor, Canon Info Actor, and we'll drag that one out. We'll delete this one, and we'll put it in the same spot, and then we'll duplicate this test UI as well, and we'll call this Canon Info. So here we'll come in and we'll type in the text, this is info about Canon, compile and save that, and now open this Canon Info Actor, and all we have to do is change what widget this is using. So change it from the test UI to the Canon Info, compile and save, and then hopefully we're looking at that. Oh, no, we're way off. It's a bit hard. it's probably facing the wrong way, yep. But yeah, you can see how that text has changed there anyway. So that's going to appear. This is some info about a cannon. Alright, so that's that simple. If you guys have any questions, just try and find me around campus or get me on Facebook. Pretty easy. Alrighty, cheers.